Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkas, and this is Happy, Season 2, Episode 3. Some girls need a lot of repenting. And yes, they do. This was definitely a very twisted episode, and that's saying something for Happy. Wow, I don't even know where to get into this one. So what I'm going to start off with is, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode, I am going to spoil the episode. You can go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. And again, thank you to Scuff Leather Up by Viking Bitch, who is out sick. Get better. I know she's got a cold there, so I know she wasn't going to be around here live for this one. And of course, Maybe Finogi's out there tending to her as well. So, I want to say thank you to Robert M. for joining me. At least I got one person in here going through this thing with me. And let's just get started. We see Haley at the new school, and it's all girls. They're in a line, and the priest is giving them an ash cross on their forehead, even though it's not Ash Wednesday. And she's like, I thought this only happens during Ash Wednesday. She goes, no. One of the girls says, no, it happens every day here. And one of the older girls who's a little bit taller than Haley is saying, aren't you that girl that got captured by Santa and made out with him and all this kind of stuff? Basically is taunting her and teasing her. And she even says, some girls need a lot more, some girls need a lot of repenting is what she does because of what happened to Haley and Santa. She said she basically made out with Santa, being a little brat, basically. I almost said another B word there, but I didn't. I kept it civil on that one. And so Haley gets pushed up to the front there to the priest, and as the priest is dipping his thumb in there and talking about everyone comes from dust and returns to dust and everything, she starts having flashbacks of Santa and everything that happened to her, has a little bit of PTSD. And as the priest makes one line across her head, she bites down on his thumb pretty damn hard. And of course, the priest's like, damn it, you bit my thumb, you little brat, and that's where we start off with. So then we see Nick. Nick is meeting LeDick at a bar. LeDick decides to take him to a bar because he doesn't believe that Nick is on the wagon and, cleaning up his act and everything. And LeDick has an offer for Nick for a B&E job, which of course Happy mistakes for a bacon and egg job, which of course is not the case. And he's going to have to steal some tapes, break into a place and steal some tapes, all for $2,000. And Nick's like, no. He goes, I'm not selling out that easy. I've got principles that are at least worth $3,200. So LeDick agrees to that, and Nick is on his way. And Happy was trying to talk him out of this all this time. Haley is in on the nun's office, who tells her to, repent for her sins, of course, and that she should read a passage from the Bible. And she passes over a passage of the Bible that she has bookmarked, which of course is a dirty passage from the Bible, which the nun is getting off on. And she goes, no, wait a minute. She flips over and she goes, this one here. And so Haley reads it, and the nun translates basically and says, don't act out of, tells her not to act out of fear. Act out in fear, I guess you could say. And that's what the message is supposed to be on this one. There were a lot of bookmarks, Pen Farm Girl. It was fairly disturbing. And it was kind of funny that nun looked an awful lot like Patton Oswalt in drag, and sounded like him too, even though I know it wasn't him. It was kind of funny that I wonder if they're related at any point. I've got to take a look back again and see in the casting list of that one. So then we see Amanda at her work, of course, and telling the doctor that she gets a text, and he goes, I haven't seen you light up like that in a long time. And he goes, did you get some? And she goes, doctor, no. There's a kid that's on the chair there. He goes, he's out cold. He's got a little nose thing on there, and he's put him out, and he's like slapping the kid's face a little bit, and he says, see, he's out cold. And she goes, yeah. She goes, I met someone, and I really like him, kind of thing. So now we know Amanda is into this guy that she's met of course. And the doctor says, okay, great. He goes, I just need to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a minute. You can tell me all about it. And so Amanda's putting on her gloves, and as she stretches the gloves, she starts having flashbacks of what happened to her in the Shine Castle, Sunny Shine's castle. And we see flashes of in between what was happening and then her putting the water spigot in the kid's mouth and basically drowning him. And the doctor comes back just in time to see her standing there kind of catatonic with the thing in the kid's mouth. And he grabs her and he's like, what the hell are you doing? You're drowning him, and pulls, the water out of there and slaps the kid out, awake. So obviously Amanda is a little bit further gone than we thought she was. In the meantime, the Scooter Sterling Foundation is going on with their Easter egg hunt, I guess, if you will, or their Easter festival that they're having out on the lawn there. And, there's a big speech that's going on by this woman, and they send out the kids to go to this giant bunny, this giant chocolate bunny, and they unwrap it. They're ripping it off, and they're using little hammers, and they're breaking apart the chocolate. And as they rip open the chocolate, inside the chocolate bunny is the skinned Scooter Sterling, of course, and they've been peeling the chocolate off of his peeled skin. I guess you could say off of his muscles that are left there, because he doesn't have any skin, and they've been eating it too. And of course, everyone starts screaming. He starts screaming. And yeah, that was one of the most disturbing scenes yet. I don't know, this season, the first season was kind of maniacal fun. And I know it's because they had the source material, and they don't have any source material for the second season. And this is kind of more mean than anything else, the second season. So that's what I've been getting off of this. I'm not getting that sense of fun that we had. Even though it was disturbing stuff in the first season, it was still fun, whereas this one is more disturbing than it is fun, and like I said, a little bit more mean, if you will. So we see Smoothie and Sunny watching the TV, of course, of what happened, and Smoothie saying he forgot how much he liked working with children, because that was all his work that he had done. And Sunny wants him to do something that evening, and Smoothie's like, nope, sorry, I've already got other plans, can't do it. And Sunny's like, okay, well, take the day off then, and it'll come back tomorrow, and you can do it then. In the meantime, they're also arguing back and forth. Sunny's like, why didn't you use milk chocolate? Milk chocolate's a lot better for kids than dark chocolate. And of course, Smoothie comes back with the reason why he used dark chocolate, which is actually more nutritious than milk chocolate. And yeah, it's just kind of a weird dynamic that was going on there. But it's not something that's out of the realm of possibilities for Happy here. Then we have Amanda, of course. She's getting fired by the doctor because what happened, because the parents are very upset. They're not going to press charges against her, but they are upset. And yeah, she starts kind of flipping out. She starts having mood swings, going from crying to okay, and then happy, and then saying, how she's not taking any more shit from anybody and all this kind of stuff, and how 10 years she was cleaning up other people's shit. Maybe it's time for people to start cleaning up her shit. And she grabs the doctor a little bit, and then she asks if she can have some candy, and he says, yeah. And she grabs the entire jar and walks out. So very erratic mood changes that are happening with Amanda here. So Nick and Happy are going to break into this gigantic house. And Nick is telling Happy that he wants an imaginary friend who is a silent partner and is occasionally, they gave the dentist a bad rating on Yelp. Thanks, Robert M. I forgot about that. Oh, man. That was a really weird little thing about that. So Nick and Happy are breaking in, and Nick, of course, is saying how he wants a silent partner and an imaginary friend, and one that occasionally helps with things. And Happy's getting the hint. And when the door opens up, the front door opens up, and we see Anne Margaret, who is playing Bibi DeBarge, and she mistakes him for the new pool boy. And Nick knows exactly who she is. He goes, do you know who that is? That's Bibi DeBarge. She's a famous actress, and of course, he starts naming off all these B movies, like softcore porn stuff that she's been in. And that's where he knows her from, of course. And of course, he goes inside. He's a big fan. And as he's following her up the stairs, he's telling her about her poster that he has of her in her gold bathing suit with her hair in the breeze, and how he's admired that poster quite a few times. In fact, he might have admired it the night before. And BB says, I never get tired of hearing of these stories. And they walk in, and she says, well, her husband, of course, hired the pool boy to come in, and he says, your husband is a lucky guy. She goes, oh, I think I'm pretty lucky as well. And that's when he walks in, and we see a statue of her husband, who is Sunny Shine. And it's a naked statue, and supposedly an anatomically correct naked statue with a very gigantic penis. So I don't know what it is about some of these shows that I've been reviewing, like Future Man, and then this one that are having the, gigantic schlong things going on there. Yeah, exactly, Pen Farm Girl. It's another elephant trunk that's going on. And honestly, it's total coincidence. I'm not picking these things because of this. It's just popping up, no pun intended there. So Nick, of course, is another thing to hate Sunny Shine about there. But he's on a mission. He needs to find these videotapes. That's what he's been tasked with breaking in. And so he's on a mission, of course. In the meantime, Blue wakes up in the hospital to Morgan Kilpatrick, who, of course, is one of the cops, and says that, I see you've been taking advantage of the extracurricular activities here. Murder, sodomy, murder. And essentially what happened was the 7 guys who attacked Blue, he killed them all. Cracked some of their skulls open against the porcelain, drowned some other, as he put it, one guy had more water in him than 3 times more water than he should have had inside him to drown him. And we see a picture of, as Sunny is flashing on what happened, of all 7 guys around the toilets, the circular toilets, all dead in their heads there. Pen Farm Girl says, how is Blue not dead, or at least more physically damaged? Because of the demon that's inside of him. That's why. So the demon came out to play, I'm fairly sure. We're going to find out fairly soon, though, of course, in this one. So Kilpatrick says that his niece is here to visit him, and he's going to leave now. And so obviously he's not a cop. He works for the prison system, Kilpatrick does. And his niece actually turns out to be Meredith. Meredith has come to visit Blue, and she wants information about Sunny Shine. And she shows him pictures of Gino going to visit Sunny Shine, and that deal that he had with the feds, Gino never brought to the feds at all. So Blue, if he still wants to make that deal, he can still make that deal. And he tells Meredith to fuck off. He's not giving her anything. He's going to kill her when he gets out, all that kind of stuff. And the nurse is telling him, calm down, and is injecting him with a sedative. And he turns and looks at her and sees himself. And of course, he freaks out because he knows the demon is inside of him. He grabs a metal tray off the bedside table, which I'm wondering, in a prison hospital, why are they giving prisoners access to ready weapons like that? And he swings it and hits her and just starts hitting her, blood's flying. And he stops and realizes, he looks down and sees that it's the nurse. And we hear orderlies coming running in, guards, but kind of muted. But that's where we kind of leave off with him. Yeah. So the girls in Haley's school are still taunting her in class, and they're talking about saints, and they pass her a picture of her making out with Santa, drawing. And then one of the girls asks, giving an example, is Saint Nick. And the nun is completely oblivious to what's going on with Haley, what happened to her. And the girls start singing Jingle Bells, and the nun's like, no, it's Easter time. It's not appropriate. She goes, oh, well, sure, why not? So they all start singing Jingle Bells, and Haley is pissed. Haley's not taking this shit. So she grabs the big girl outside of class and says, 5 o'clock, you and me under the bleachers. We're going to take care of this. So that's one of the things I liked, even though the girl was like twice her size. So where are we at here? So Amanda, we see at home, gorging on candy. Literally stuffing mouthfuls of it in her mouth to the point where she gets sick and ends up throwing up. And then she kind of gets this really kind of surprised but manic look on her face and takes off. So we don't know where she's going at this point. Nick, in the meantime, has Happy keep an eye on Baby while he goes around taking a look for the tapes and sees what he can find. Sunny, in the meantime, is golfing with the TV executive. And the TV executive is talking about his next special here and how it's too long. It's 300 pages, and they need to lose the last 60 pages, of course. And Sunny's like, but that's the most important part. That's where the wishes are. And he goes, we don't need it. And he also says, we also have a problem. You use the word Chinaman. And Sunny's like, yeah, so? He goes, it's not politically correct. And he goes, we might have used it once or twice. He goes, you used it 34 times. And he used it all in reference to George Takei, who is, of course, of Japanese descent. So it's very, very, not politically correct. We need to get that out of there. And this is when Sunny asks the TV exec about what his most secret wish is. And the guy's like, I've got a lot of money. He goes, I don't have any wishes anymore. And Sunny's like, oh, of course you do. Everyone has something you can't possibly buy. What is it? And he wants to know because, of course, he wants to grant it to him. So Happy is talking to Bebe and realizes that she can see him. And she goes, yeah, I can see you. She goes, in fact, don't you remember me from, I guess there was an acid trip during the 60s. And so she can see imaginary friends and knows him from the past, which Happy does not remember her from the past. All he remembers is Haley and, of course, Nick. So this is going to be interesting if Happy keeps getting recycled or imaginary friends get recycled. And if we see how that comes about. This is something that they touched on briefly in season 1, but not dug into it. And I think they're going to dig into it a little bit more in this one, especially now having Bebe recognize him from the past. I think it's going to be kind of an interesting thing. So Happy keeps talking about being held back because he's still stuck on Haley. And Bebe's like, you know what? You need to just let her go. If she's not going to believe in you, just let her go and find a connection with someone else. And yeah, Bebe was an interesting character, definitely. And she says she's been married 7 times and has all of their rings on a necklace. And of course, it's on a pearl necklace. And I love how Happy asks, oh, shiny. He goes, how do I get one of those? And Bebe responds, Kegels. Yeah, the writing has not diminished whatsoever. So Happy and Bebe start up a duet of Put on a Happy Face. Yeah, Robert M. Yeah, it was an acid trip that she was on. And we can understand it was back in the 60s or the 70s, something like that. So obviously her mind was expanded to the point where she can actually see imaginary friends, which makes a lot of sense. So now Bebe and Happy are singing a duet of Put on a Happy Face while Nick is searching everywhere, and he finally finds the secret room and goes inside and finds a bag of tapes, finds some tapes and takes them. He inadvertently, of course, sets off an alarm. It's kind of funny. It's like he almost notices the alarm goes off. It's a silent alarm. You just see a light go on, and he looks up as the light goes off, and he's looking around, and he goes back taking the tapes. So Nick comes back in as Bebe and Happy are still singing, and he goes to Sunshine statue and grabs onto the penis, as we knew he was going to, and wants to rip that thing off. But the way he's holding it and making the motions, it looks like he's doing something else to it altogether. I'm pretty sure they watched Naked Gun, the movie quite a few times in order to get that. There's a great scene of Leslie Nielsen doing this to a statue outside. Uh, yeah, statues with penises. So that's all I'm going to say. And security guards come in and go, what are you doing? Let go of Mr. Shine's penis. And you can see one of the guys, the actors, could not hold it in. He was like laughing. They kept cutting from him. Every time he started to bust up, it was the guy in the back. There's two guys. So the guy in the front was delivering the lines. The guy in the back was starting to laugh. So it was actually pretty funny. And Nick succeeds in breaking off the penis off the statue and using it. I just happened to catch it because he was centered right in the center of the screen. And I saw him start to go like this and start laughing. And then they cut from it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty damn funny. He couldn't hold it in. That was the best take they could get. He was probably laughing the entire time. And that was their screw it. We're not doing another take. This is what we're going with. They probably had a limited amount of time because I'm pretty sure they were in somebody's house. According to one of our sirens of Sussex, they do rent out houses in New York when they're filming this. And so they do have a limited amount of time to be in these houses. So I'm fairly sure that's what was going on. And they're like, screw it. That's the one we're going with. That's the best take we can get. We're out of here. So yeah, he rips off the penis off the statue and, of course, uses it to fight one of the guards. And he goes running outside with the security guard following him. And as he's fighting, at first he's trying to dodge some punches, and then the put on a happy face dance number takes place. The tone of the music, the music shifts a little bit, and they start dancing. And then Nick starts beating the hell out of some of the guards to the beat of the music. And we see Bebe and Happy dancing inside as Nick and the guards are fight dancing outside, and tasers are involved. And he's tased all four of them. He's using the tasers to pull them forward, pull them back. And at one point, he's got them all in a line, and they're doing the can kind of thing, kicking the rocket thing. And then he gets them at the edge of the fountain and has them all fall into the fountain. And grabs his bag of tapes and leaves. And he sneaks upstairs, grabs Happy from as Bebe is crawling across the floor there, and grabs Happy and takes off. Yeah, the can was very, very wrong. Exactly, Pen Farm Girl. Yeah. So Nick gives the tapes to Meredith and says, he goes, I'm going to give you these free of charge because I'm pretty sure I owe you back rent for everything that's been going on. And they're all beta tapes. So she's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with beta tapes? And Sunnyshine was right. Tapes do last forever when they're beta. Beta tapes do last forever. They were that was the one thing they had going for them over VHS tapes, was that they last a hell of a lot longer. They don't degrade. VHS tapes, as anyone knows, suck balls in retention time. They age fairly quickly. Within 6 months, they're done. So she wants to take down Sonny while Nick wants to kill Sonny. And of course, he's a family man now, so he can't do that anymore. And he's about to walk away from all of this when Meredith says, I'm this close to taking him down. And she goes, I'll show you. And he's like, all right. So he goes with her. And her place now has string just going all over the place. And he goes, you know what? This is the best crazy person apartment I've ever been in. It's what he tells her. And supposedly one of the tapes has a secretary general fucking a chicken. And she says these tapes are Sunnyshine's insurance policy to stay out of jail. And Nick says, of course, I want this Mitchell looking motherfucker just as much as you do. And so they're trying to figure out how they can watch these tapes. And he goes, Haley's very important to me. She's the most important thing in my life. And then he looks down at his watch and goes, I need to go pick her up at school right now. So he leaves. And at the school, Nick sees Haley sitting in the library, and it's just about 5 o'clock. And Haley says, I need to go and pick up a math assignment for my math teacher, so it's going to be 10 minutes. And that's when Nick spots a Betamax player rolling by on a cart and goes, "Oh, okay, take your time," because I got something to do. And he brings Meredith over, of course. And Haley goes back over to the gym to fight that girl. And the girl shows up and says, "I didn't think you were going to show up." And Haley takes a swing at her, of course. And this girl just starts wailing on Haley, just takes her down and starts beating the shit out of her. When suddenly this girl is grabbed from behind and lifted up and hung up on the bleachers on the rafters by her, basically by her neck, by her collar. So she's choking to death. And Haley's making a run for her. We don't see the person clearly. They're blurred out. And the bleachers start closing on this girl, trapping her inside while she's yelling for help, all kind of choke yelling for help. Haley makes a run for it, gets to the door, and the door is locked. And the person we see blurry coming down with her backpack and hands it to her, and has her rabbit's foot that she got as a gift. And we see that it's Smoothie. And Smoothie hands the backpack to her and says, "You're a very lucky girl." And we understand now that Smoothie was the one that gave her that rabbit's foot, because of course he made that rabbit's foot for her, as we saw in the last episode, which is very fucking disturbing now at this point. And he goes and leaves. What the hell does Smoothie want with Haley still at this point? Why is he still keeping tabs on her? Obviously, he's keeping tabs on her and Amanda because he knows where they live, because we saw him outside their place. So, yeah, some really weird shit. So Haley's got a split lip. In the meantime, Nick and Meredith are in the school library in full view of all these kids. And and Happy has met two other imaginary friends in the school. And he goes, "Why aren't there more imaginary friends? Haley's old school had lots of imaginary friends." She goes, "Oh, mainly the bullying and the internet. That's got rid of all the imaginary friends here, beating them down. And we're the only ones that are left." And he goes, "Wow, that's pretty sad." And of course, they pop in the tapes, the Betamax tapes, and we see that all these tapes are Bebe and Sunny screwing. And sometimes Sunny is screwing her, and sometimes she's screwing him. And yeah, I couldn't believe that they let those girls just sit there and watch those tapes out in the open. It was just wrong. Because obviously Bebe had a strap on at some point and was using it on Sunny. Yeah. So, of course, Meredith is pretty pissed off at Nick at this point because you stole the wrong tapes. And he says, "Those are the only tapes in the damn house. Because if you were more specific about what the location was," he goes, "I would have gotten you the right tapes. But these are the only ones that were there." So she stalks off and passes by Haley on her way out. Nick has grabbed the Betamax cart, if you will, has the TV and the Betamax player, and he runs into Haley and he sees her, and with a split lip and a bruised cheekbone, he goes, "What is it you said you were doing? A math project?" Huh. And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, I don't want to talk about it," kind of thing, of course. And it's like, "All right, we won't. Just help me get this thing outside." So he takes the Betamax tape player home and puts Happy to bed. And he decides to watch one more tape and jerk off to it, of course, because he's a big fan of Bebe's. And he falls asleep, and Happy wakes him up, of course, just as the tape is running out there. And it goes from like fuzzy static to this guy dressed up as Hitler in a G-string, in a leather G-string. Again, a very disturbing image. And Happy knows who this guy is. He goes, "It's Dayglow Dave." And of course, he's like, "Who?" Nick's like, "Who the fuck is Dayglow Dave?" Sorry, you're probably hearing my dog having nightmares there. She just had nightmares of watching Dayglow Dave in the, G-string bikini there. And of course, it's Curtis Armstrong. If you don't know who the actor is, he's been around a long, long time. So, yeah, and that's where we leave off on this episode, is with another clue with Dayglow Dave. Yeah, very, very fucking disturbing episode, especially the giant chocolate bunny with Scooter inside of it, and then peeling the chocolate off of his flesh, if you will. So essentially skinning him for a second time. Wow. And then yeah, the kids watching the porno tape inside the library, and they're not really moving. They're just kind of watching it. They're standing around, and I mean it's a wow. Yeah. Whew, that's all I can say. But that dance number was actually pretty damn funny. So take care of some business here. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, hit the dislike button. I just asked if you hit the dislike button. Go down the comment section down below. Tell me what it is you don't like. Give me some constructive criticism. Nothing like, you suck, you damn motherfucker. Because, all right, whatever. Samuel L. Jackson does it better. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again, just hit the little bell. If you've already hit the bell once, don't hit it again because it will unclick. You can actually open up the bell and adjust the settings to see if you want more or less from me of when I'm coming on live. And you still don't get a 50-50 chance of YouTube telling you when I'm going to be on live next. So that's just the way it is. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live, again, take a look at my schedule. My schedule's up on suspendedfanimation.com and also on Facebook as well. So I'm usually on time. If I'm going to be late, I will post something up in Facebook, and I usually try and change the time out on my schedule as well on the web page and also on the Facebook page as well. So, hey, Slurmy Scott, just popped in to hit the like button. I don't want to spoil the show. Hi, Pen. Yeah, hey, I just finished up the recap, Slurmy, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. But good episode again. I'm also on Twitter, and I'm also on Instagram as well. And if you're still on the fence about joining up or not, you're going to see there's going to be a video up in this area. Take a look. It's going to take one video out of my video library that is going to be tailored to your tastes, basically using the algorithms of all the stuff you watch currently. And if you like what you see there, then you can hit the subscribe button over this way. There we go. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the evening, since I know some of you are up late. And, you just turned on the sound until I thought it was over. Good call, man. That's a really good call. Yeah, you saw when I took off the glasses, right? When I took off the glasses, that's the cue that I'm done. You're actually almost as good as Pepper. Pepper does the same thing. She knows when I'm done with the podcast as when the headphones come off. So that's usually her cue when she comes over and says, "Take me out, God damn it." The website is also linked here on your About page. Yes, it is. I do have the website linked there as well. Thank you, Pen Farm Girl. I did try and put it up as much as possible all over the place. So, and you can also email me there as well. So, suspendedfanimation@gmail.com. You can email me and ask me questions, whatever you want to do. Just, you know what? Don't send any dick pics. I don't want to see any of that kind of stuff. I'm talking to you, Slurmy. With that said, take a look at the videos. Hit the subscribe button over here. I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up eating chocolate from a very questionable, gigantic Easter bunny. Thanks, everyone. Good night.